Warning, the following video exploring the deep depravity of Max Carson, also known as MrGirl, contains extremely disturbing footage and imagery, including depictions of domestic abuse, sexual assault, exploitation of minors, bestiality, and more. The producer of this video does not endorse any of the views expressed or actions taken by Mr. Carson.
If you know anything about Max Carson, also known as MrGirl, it's probably the common belief that he's a pedophile. Or at least to this point, what some people may call a NOMAP, which is an acronym for non-offending minor attracted person. But unlike a lot of other videos looking at Max, that is not where this video is going to start. And that's because Max's favorite defense as of late to being labeled as a pedophile is that there's a difference between thoughts, fantasies, and actions. And because while he speaks openly about his extremely disturbing thoughts and fantasies, there isn't any evidence yet that he would act on his most horrifying thoughts and fantasies. But as you will see, that's not true. This entire video is very disturbing, but perhaps most disturbing of all is where we're going to start, which is not in Max's past or his theoretical future, but in the present moment where Max has proudly broadcasted for the world to see his horrifying and relentless abuse of his current girlfriend, Shaylin. And as disturbing as the next hour will be, I hope that you will sit through it, because the only way we can root out evil in our society is by facing it and witnessing it as it unfolds.
I just don't have any money.
You don't have $100?
I won't have it if you want me to pay rent to you.
You have exactly enough money to pay rent, but not $100 more.
I don't have enough money to pay rent yet. I'm waiting on...
You're not answering my question.
Yes, I don't.
You will have exactly the right amount, but not $100 more.
I don't know, Max.
You know what? They're not here. Let's just take a look. Normally I would never violate someone's privacy like this, but desperate times call for desperate measures. I will fucking do whatever I have to survive. And I looked in her room, and oh my god, this is how fucking explorers must feel when they find treasure.
Oh, I can use the... So I don't need to use the mic, I can use the other kind, right?
I'm not responding to you.
I just don't think to use these, I don't know. You are often using them. What thing do you feel I'm not responding to?
Nothing. The reason I'm talking, you're not responding to me. You're not responding to the fucking point of what I'm saying.
Which is what?
Okay. Are you aware that I'm very angry at you, generally? And are you aware that it's your fucking arrogance and refusal to admit when you're struggling bad at something, ask a question, or you don't know something that is, at least from my point of view, creating or partially creating a rift between us?
Yes, I do know that.
So you already know that.
Yes.
And you aren't sure why I would bring up your stubbornness and arrogance right now. You think I'm just asking you about headphones and Bluetooth.
No, I can see why you're bringing it up, but I feel like you're inserting it into a conversation and without really knowing whether or not that's true, and I'm trying to answer...
It doesn't matter if it's true. You don't know if it's true. You don't know why you've never used those headphones.
Yes.
So you can't say that it's true or not true. It's just something to discuss. It's an idea. It's a lens through which to view the conversation or view the conflict or view the interaction or whatever. But you refuse to look through that lens. And that's why I can't fucking stand you. Because I present a lens and you're like, well, I think if I look through that, I'll see something uncomfortable. I don't want to have to see what you're seeing, so I just won't. Even when I'm telling you you're not thinking about it from my point of view and you're not listening to me, you still don't give a fuck. You're just miserable?
Yes.
Why?
Because it makes me enraged when I'm trying to do work to help you with your channel, and I feel like you and Jimmy are being annoying and bossy, and then you are acting like it's inconvenient for me to ask you for help to pair them.
No, it's not inconvenient for me. It's inconvenient for you because you're fucking arrogant. I like showing you shit. I like showing you how to use shit. I like sharing my stuff with you.
I mean, you can say that, but what you actually said made it seem like it was inconveniencing you and that...
There she goes.
What the fuck is going on?
They're leaving.
I know.
What do you mean what's going on?
I'm frustrated that we're like fighting and then you keep switching back and forth about whether or not you're filming.
Oh, she's coming back in. She's coming back in. Filming or fighting? I'm doing both.
I can see that.
Your question is going to be stupid.
How do you know? I haven't said it.
Because you don't have a fucking question about this. Just express your fucking feelings. Why don't you err on the side of caution? Why don't you think, well, since I'm probably feeling emotional about this, I'll fucking talk about that first, like we just fucking agreed.
Fine, I can talk about that first.
What do you think is more important? That you express your feelings and stop injecting them into your fucking retarded questions? Or that you have a mild intellectual curiosity that needs to be satisfied? I told you I'm going to go film a testing center, and your first question is if I'm trying to get tested for coronavirus. That's a stupid fucking question, and should tell you that what you need to do is talk about your feelings. Not ask more dumb fucking shit.
Right.
Would you like to fucking talk about that?
Yes.
Great.
Yes,
Let's. Do you think we should have a conversation about that?
Yes, Max.
You're being fucking awful to me.
I don't think that wearing a pair of shoes that's easy to put on is being awful to you.
You're a fucking idiot.
Okay.
That's not the part I'm talking about, you fucking moron.
And what part are you talking about?
Fuck you.
The denial?
The being a fucking asshole part. The part where you are being a mean bitch.
Hi, where would you like me to put your items?
Just leave them there.
Leave them here?
Yeah.
Okay, and the last four numbers on your card?
I think
Says card.
I left the card over there if you want to look at it. I think it's $10 for you.
No, we don't take tips here. Thank you, though.
Liz.
Yes, sir.
You have to take it.
I am not taking it.
Was I being mean the whole time or just since we got in the car?
I think you were being unkind and callous at first, especially given how much we've talked about how you are going to step up and stop acting like a fucking teenager.
No.
I do understand
I mean, sort
why.
of, but that's not why.
Yes, it is.
It's not.
Yes, it is. I understand that you have some other fucking retarded argument you want to make that has nothing to do with that. That's not why I'm screaming at you, you fucking asshole. That's not why I'm calling you a mean bitch. That's not why I'm saying you're being passive-aggressive like you always are. I'm saying that because you're being passive-aggressive like you always are. There's nothing you can say about your fucking boots that's gonna make me not feel that.
Right. I'm just trying to explain my point of view, but I can see that
I
it's
don't
not
fucking
helping.
care.
Yes.
I'm not once again, I'm not angry about your point of view. What I'm angry about is that you don't fucking care about my feelings and that you are mean. And when I call you out on it, you're like, yeah, you're right. I'm a stupid, worthless fucking moron. You're absolutely right, sweetie. which is also patronizing and fucking annoying. Is that honestly what's in your fucking head? An endless parade of stammering, yeah. No. I see it. As soon as you think, oh God, the thing that Max thinks about the website is different from what I think.
It's not fucking retarded.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it isn't.
Whatever you're about to blame on me for your passive aggressiveness and your constant conflict avoidance, your constant desire to just be like, I'm not sure. No. You're a fucking coward.
I don't know if you're actually gaslighting me, but telling me that I'm stupid and then me second guessing whether or not that's true.
I don't know. What do you mean by what's your definition of gaslighting?
You telling me that I'm insane for thinking something, and then me questioning whether or not my experience is...
Well, you react to everything by questioning your experience to try to frantically align yourself with whatever anybody's telling you. So it's kind of impossible to not gaslight you. Gaslighting is when a woman questions herself. God fucking forbid. Gaslighting is when a woman questions herself and then can't come up with a fucking answer. And then she lets someone else answer for her and then doesn't take responsibility for that.
That's not true. You just hate women.
No, I also hate women, but that's not what we're talking about. When a woman blames a man...
No, you constantly tell me that I'm gaslighting you, so that's just false. The video fucking horrifies me. I hate it. I think just watching the video makes me just feel like everything is a horrible disaster and like I'm a huge failure and I just like hate it and it just makes me feel completely miserable. And my immediate reaction to it is like, this is bad. This is hurting you. This is hurting me. I can come up with reasons why it's hurting you.
The video or a relationship?
The video.
Okay. No, we should what?
Stop.
Filming?
Yes. I want to cut myself out of the project entirely so that I don't have to deal with the pain of reliving it and like watching it and reading the comments. So I don't know, so I just have like a really bad reaction to it and like want to stop production. Mm-hmm. But then I also freak out because I don't know, like one of our problems that we've also established with me is that I have like no idea how to set any boundaries about it. So like I feel very conflicted about the idea of actually trying to figure out where the line is for us filming stuff. Whenever we're talking about something and then I am having a reaction to it that you feel is horrible, I'm having like I feel like what's happening is that I'm having like a trigger response and I'm like either my brain is like flooding and I just can't think straight because I'm having too much anxiety, or I'm like I just feel like my stutter is like a fucking PTSD thing and you're just making fun of me and it's fucking horrible. It's like, no, I'm not like trying to stutter just to piss you off. Like, fuck you. It's horrifying to me that you are making fun of my like PTSD response to what you're saying, and then you're like fucking like later watching the footage of yourself like berating me over my fucking like trigger response, and you're just like laughing and you're just like nah, and then like in the fucking comments people are like, Shaylin's a psycho, why would she put up with this? And it's like, well, I don't know why, it's fucking horrible. It's fucking ridiculous and stupid and like it's horrible for me because like I already feel bad about it. Like, why would you fucking do that? I mean, I know why because you've explained it to me, but it's fucking horrible.
What are we talking about right now?
Huh?
What are we talking about? How you feel bad watching me berate you for stuttering?
Yes. And just fucking enduring it right now. Well, not now, but before. You're not helping, you're just making it worse.
That's not true. I think that the problem is for both of us, but definitely also for you. As in this conversation, you put yourself in a role. It's not that I'm making fun of you for having an offering to take care of PTSD. When you really need to be taking stress. It's that because you talk about your feelings, you don't know what you're feeling and when you need to talk about your feelings. But fuck you.
It's either that or like, why are you so abusive? Just be yourself.
I never said that.
Maybe you should.
No, you would get too mad. I'm still doing it. Sorry.
Your fake jokey shit isn't funny. You are genuinely funny sometimes, but when the camera's on, you're just like uber cringe. Let's go. Okay, new rule. If you don't want to talk to me, shut up.
I don't want to talk to you.
Then stop talking to me. Shaylin.
What?
That working?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Stop.
Filming?
Yes.
Really? I know you want me to feel guilty. I don't think guilt is that useful. I hit you. It hurt you. Oops. I grabbed her wrist. She screamed for me to stop. And then, after that first time, a few weeks later, I grabbed her arms because she wasn't listening to me or something. And I grabbed them really hard, and afterwards she showed me bruises on her arms. A little bit after that, I just said, okay, that was so loud that the neighbors are going to call the cops. And before they get here, I need you to put on a long sleeve shirt so they don't see the bruises on your arms. Because if they do, I'm going to spend the night in jail, 100%. And one thing people don't talk about a lot is that a violent outburst like that can be a unifying event for a couple. One time I broke my ex's laptop, and you get to sort of join forces against the you that just snapped. And you're like, whoa, that was crazy. Wow, I really went insane there. Wow, we're on a team against that evil part of me. And then you get to apologize, and apologizing is fun. And I'll never forget my ex looking at me and calmly saying to me, "Why are you punching me in the face?" It was a good question. I'll add, for the sake of honesty, I did punch her in the face. So in my case, hitting women over the next several years from that point on, when I first came out as an abusive piece of shit woman batterer to my family, I told my father, listen, every time we come visit you, we end up getting into some physical altercation at your house after you go to sleep. When we go back to our room, we're basically fist fighting for like an hour every time we come visit you. Because you're so demeaning to me, and you mock me, and you treat me like a fucking loser in front of her. And she doesn't want to see me that way, and I don't want her to see me that way. And I don't stand up to you, and it's humiliating, and it makes me hate her because she's watching it. So I need you to stop doing that. Eventually I realized, like, I basically have to choose. So I left my family. Now, the relationship fell apart later anyways, but I had to leave because I could see what kind of person it was turning me into.
It's a complicated problem because if you're at the point where you're being violent with the person who you supposedly love the most, it probably means that your whole life is fucked up. Step 4. Fuck your guilt. I know you want me to feel guilty. I don't think guilt is that useful, obviously. I just don't think you have as much control over yourself as most people seem to think they do. And I think that it takes two to tango. It's usually part of a complex dynamic that both people are feeding into. It's too complicated to blame on just one person or assign the fault to just one person. I will also add that one thing that confounds all of this is that I have definitely noticed some arousal in women after being violent towards them. It makes it pretty hard to break the cycle.
I don't want to deal with all your anger at previous men you've known, although you are definitely going to have to deal with all my anger at previous women I've known, but you don't have to deal with it like right away. Hi, horses. So, why is it okay to hate women? Well, hate is an emotion, and I don't think emotions can be controlled. People always say, oh, don't you have a mother? Well, yes, I have a mother, and 2 stepmothers. And they're all heartless vipers who cut my balls off when I was 13. I just think maybe if I'd been allowed to express myself openly, I wouldn't have a black ocean of vitriol towards women festering in my heart. That's not how it went. Oh, but you can't ever hit them. But they can hit you. Yeah. And then he listens to me, by which I mean he agrees with me. Okay. And he's taller and sexier than me. Oh, you're just mad because you can't get laid. No one would ever fuck you, Mr. Girl. At this point, I don't know if I hate women because I'm gay or if I'm gay because I hate women.
Women. Can't live with them, can't kill them.
But honestly, all this shit wouldn't be that bad if you could actually take feedback. Then we could talk about it. Maybe if you stop playing the fucking victim all the time and start thinking of men as human beings, I'll hate you just a teeny, tiny bit less.
My attraction to my cats is probably very much less tinged with sexuality, but not free of sexuality. That my attraction to my cats is probably very much less tinged with sexuality, but not free of sexuality.
Okay, if I were to ask you if you've ever had an attraction to an underage person before, would you answer that question if I asked you?
The answer is yes. What is a pedophile? How could you ballpark explain that to us?
Preference.
Dominant preference. They're saying if I could have any woman in the world, I would have a 5-year-old.
That's
any female.
Nope.
Any female.
No, that's a different question.
That's not a preference?
It's a preference for a different thing. It's instead of a preference for, somebody who's attracted to 12-year-olds, it's not I want a 12-year-old, it's I want to masturbate about 12-year-olds.
Thinking about molesting
There
children is okay.
there.
I don't see how a thought can be immoral. I had a someone I knew who
just, if you're going to admit to any crimes, I would really rather not be listed in whatever federal reports are filed, so I would prefer it be done in a video on your stream, unrelated to my own.
Okay. Do you think owning child porn should be a crime?
Yeah.
Have you ever looked at child pornography? I need you to answer the question honestly, or leave. Yeah.
Okay. So I should just leave.
Yeah. Have you ever looked at child pornography? I don't think I have.
I don't think he's gonna indulge that.
Billy hasn't.
Jimmy,
I know I haven't. Personally speaking,
Jimmy is having a fit in the editing room right now.
I wish we could talk because you are literally the definition of the exact thing that I'm talking
thing you
about.
like to mock. Yeah, exactly.
You would be
I've embodied it perfectly.
What you're doing right
this
now.
is why you've threatened to leave 3 times. It hasn't worked. I've called your bluff each time, and now you're lingering. You don't know what to do.
I'm not.
You want to be here.
I'm not
you know
threatening.
You do. And you're hoping to
I'm not
reframe
threatening
it, that it's
you.
our
I'm
confusion.
threatening
We
Ben.
know exactly what's happened. Ben knows exactly what's happening.
Ben, I need
knows
you.
exactly.
I
He
need
knew
you to
what was
muzzle
gonna
your
happen when I was
dog,
brought
or I
up.
have to go. Are we done? Well, thank you for the time that we had.
It was a great interview.
Here's a thought experiment. I'm gonna open a string of strip clubs in Las Vegas. And it's going to be called MrGirl's Whatever You Want Emporium. Okay? In one strip club, the strippers are 25, 24, 23, 22, all the way down to infants. Okay? So if you want to watch babies crawl around or you want to watch 100-year-olds, we'll start at 100. So basically everybody, and everybody all the women on the planet have to work here. You know a lot of people. You talk to a lot of people about this. And we all.
You know, I haven't talked to a lot of people about this specifically. I'm going to.
Okay, well, we run in different circles. But which club is the most popular?
I don't even know by what category you would distinguish into that group.
Okay, but you don't want to say the number.
I don't have a number. Do you have a number? Is there a number you're looking for?
I think it's 15.
Well, I suppose we'll leave it to the historians to judge.
I feel bad about myself for being attracted to younger women, but I'm not attracted to their fucking brains. I'm attracted to the fact that they haven't had a chance to ruin their fucking bodies yet. You know? I just want a 35-year-old brain in a 15-year-old body. Maybe 16. It might be. I think it would be 14 at first, and then it would move up once the novelty wore off. I think it would be 15 or 16.
Is this consideration in line with your desire to empathize with pedophiles, or is it something more personal than that?
I just want a 15-year-old body. I feel bad about myself for being attracted to younger women. What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, you sound like a pedophile, not a person who wants to promote empathy for socially misaligned people.
I feel bad about myself for being attracted to younger women. Why do I sound like a pedophile?
Because you're dedicating a considerable amount of thought to the subject of what type of underage girl people would be most interested in.
What color, if you had to guess what color their underwear would be, Vlash, what would you say?
Yeah, okay.
No,
Nude modeling is sexual after all. February 15th, 2011, by Max Carson. As you all know, I am an exhibitionist. I am also creative and like meeting other creative people. I also usually get paid, so modeling satisfies several different needs for me. One of them is purely sexual. Art schools are overwhelmingly against male models getting erections, and those who do are usually fired. Fuck you. What kind of sex blogger kills his erections? What kind of person kills his erections? I made a vow right there. I will never attempt to prevent myself from getting an erection for the rest of my life. If I get kicked off of model stands, or make people uncomfortable at dinner parties, or freak doctors and therapeutic massage therapists out, then so be it. No more hiding. Once I was posing nude for a group of high school kids.
High school kids? What kind of high school is this?
I pose for kids 15 to 18 pretty regularly.
nude modeling is sexual. Yeah, drawing naked people is inherently sexual. The average most desirable age is 14.
You may overstate how many people are going to find the children in this movie hot. Like,
I don't think so. I think they're objectively hot. If you're let's say your son is 12, and he's like, you're like, oh, there's going to be these group of girls at this like a function that we're going to, and he says like, oh, are they hot? I think most people, if they saw the girls and then they're like had a socially acceptable reason to say yes, they'd be like, well, yeah.
Okay. Because I don't really. We have a difference of opinion, but I think that's where it's coming from.
No, I don't think we have a difference of opinion.
Okay.
I think that you are now claiming that you are unable to determine attractiveness in 12-year-old humans. Okay, when you were 12, could you tell whether a 12-year-old was hot?
Yeah.
And you could feel it.
Yes.
Okay, you're saying that your innate physiological radar for whether someone is sexually attractive has been decommissioned and no longer functions?
Like, I can intellectualize it. I don't feel that anymore.
You're claiming that when you see a 12-year-old twerking, just as I can tell you which 90-year-olds are hotter than other 90-year-olds, I can still tell you which one I would rather fuck. I mean, can you tell which ones are more cute? I guess that's why I said this in the review. I think cute is a stand-in for sexually attractive. I don't think there's really a difference. Face the fact that you can be attracted to 12-year-olds, but I'm like, I already knew that, so that's not surprising to me.
But what is surprising to you is that may be a more unique to you experience than you originally thought, whereas you think every human experiences that. Maybe that isn't the case.
No, that's not. I mean, it's not surprising to me because I don't think it's true. You can tell when a 12-year-old is hot, and then so like I think we should just move on.
It was January 2015. My marriage was well into falling apart. I went to the UCLA clinic where they train therapists because you can get pretty cheap therapy there. I went for my intake interview. She was doing my intake interview and was asking me what kind of therapist I wanted. And I said, you need to, whoever you would give Hannibal Lecter to, if he were to come in looking for therapy, you need to give me to that person because otherwise this isn't going to go well. And she was like, okay, so I'm and that's just like undercurrent of like extraordinary discomfort masked with like a thin veneer of professionalism that I encounter a lot in my life. She assigned me to the director of the program, and the next week I came back and I said, it's okay to keep going to you for therapy as long as you don't continuously try to reschedule or try to sleep with me. And she was like, I am not going to try to sleep with you. And I was like, that's great. And she was like, Max, I am not going to try to sleep with you. And I was like, okay, great. And she was like, Max, I am not going to try to sleep with you. And I was like, and then at the end, she looked at the clock. She was like, our time is up and the session is over. So I leave. And then the following Wednesday, I get a phone call from her. And she says, Max, I'm not going to be able to continue working with you. Yeah, it's not working out. But you can be reassigned to another therapist if you call the office or email. And I was like, okay. Like I wasn't. I'm always kind of shocked, like intellectually, by how people like respond to me. But like it's happened enough that I'm just kind of like, yeah, like of course. I guess I knew when I asked for the Hannibal Lecter treatment that like I might be too much. And that's the time I got kicked out of the UCLA psychology clinic. But I'm not surprised. I've had this is just a little slice of it's a pattern. Of I go on dates, people leave after 20 minutes sometimes. Women leave. I hook up with guys sometimes. I don't really call it dates, but I go on dates with women and they leave after like 20 minutes. And
total discomfort. But it's not just terror. Because when someone scares you, you just like get away from them, but it's a sexual terror.
Discussed by Max Carson. Published February 1st, 2011. 2011, Hannah and I are texting. She asks me how I'm doing. I answer briefly and change the subject. Me, a few years ago I found a Yahoo group about extremely cruel handjobs and guys tying each other up and forcing each other to come when they don't want to. Me, link, groups.yahoo.com/group/gay force milking. Hannah, what made you think of that? Me, the page was open on my phone browser. Hannah, oh, me, I should write. Do you mind if I text you later? Hannah, okay, yeah, that's cool. Me, okay, join that Yahoo group. Hannah, doubtful. Me, why? That upsets me. Me, I'm asking you to share something that turns me on and to try doing it with me. Hannah, you didn't say it turned you on, or say it had any relevance to us. Me, both of those are so unbelievably obvious that I don't believe you didn't know them. My heart is pounding. Me, I think you recoiled and now you are covering your tracks. Please be honest. She is disgusted. I put my phone in my lap. I should write. I'll silence my phone and check it in a few minutes. I don't care if she texts me now. Let her simmer a little. I have to write. I pick up my phone and check it. She hasn't texted me. What the fuck is she doing? Me, you definitely knew it turned me on. That would be absurd if you didn't. Did you feel excluded? Why would I ask you to join it? You sound crazy. Use I statements. Me, I feel judged or embarrassed. I sleep my phone and put it in my lap. I pick my phone up. Me, and instead of reassuring me or trying to make me feel less upset, you are focused on defending yourself by saying it's my fault I'm upset. Hannah, of course I'll do that with you. I should have asked you to clarify. I run my hands through my hair. It isn't about the fucking cruel handjobs. It's about her disgust with me. Me, why did you just say doubtful? Me, why won't you join the Yahoo group? My face is burning. Me, I'm really upset. Me, I feel like you think it's irritating or gross that it's a gay group and that's why you don't want to join and you are now pretending you didn't recoil at the suggestion. I will find her disgust and dig it out. Me, please, please, please don't lie about your reaction. It will confuse me. Hannah, the phrase extremely cruel freaked me out. Hannah, I am in the middle of a meeting. You fucking bitch. Me, what freaked you out about it? Okay, maybe you shouldn't text me from meetings. Me, I need space to have feelings. If you are in a meeting, then I'm not allowed to get upset. Now I'm just sitting here upset and you don't have time to make me feel better. Stop whining. This is not sexy. Me, I'm calming down. Just text me later when you can. I hope you have a good meeting. Way to play it cool. I put the phone down. I pick it back up. Me, I know you are trying to be sweet and that you care about how I'm doing. But please stop asking me to talk about how I feel when you don't have a lot of time to talk. It makes intimacy a lot harder for me. Me, don't give one-word responses to texts about my sexual desires. Don't do that shit if you are in a meeting. Please, I put the phone down. I pick it back up. Nothing. I put it down. I turn the ringer on so I will hear the text alert through my headphones. I open my laptop and look at my screenplay. Why isn't she texting me? Because she's in a meeting. I turn the ringer off. I'll check it later. I look at my screenplay. I check my phone. Nothing. I put it down. Let it go. She'll text you later. You told her to stop texting you, so she did. Now you have to write. I write. I check my phone every 20 minutes for an hour and a half. Finally, I see her name. Hannah. Okay, I want to create space for your feelings. It freaked me out because it sounds like a violation of consent. I mean, obviously not if everyone has joined a group for it, but the word force is scary.
I'm reposting this video about consent in which I semi-admit to technically raping someone because it was taken down 2 months ago. Okay. Well, here's the video. I hope you enjoy it. The public dialogue about rape and consent is spinning off into wild, bizarre directions. People are trying to get a handle on what's going on, but for some reason they want to do it with very simple ideas and catchphrases. Yeah, that doesn't really work for me. As a rule, I don't have sex with enthusiastic people. Yeah, that's more like it. Yes means yes. Is that always true? Do you really never say no in sexual situations when you really mean yes? Here's a story. A couple years ago, I matched with a woman on Tinder. We got frozen yogurt. She came over. We got naked. I got naked. Then we both got naked. We started making out. Finally, I get her on top of me. I put my dick in place, like right at her vagina. And I'm like, all right, let's do this. She holds perfectly still and says, I'm not ready. Clear as day. No mistaking her meaning. She doesn't consent. But she has this look in her eye. Like she's daring me to just push it in. Like I'm some kind of pussy if I don't. I could have been imagining that, but I grabbed her shoulders and pushed her down onto my dick. She liked that I did that? I think so.
She probably had mixed feelings about it. Was it rape? Yes! She told me not to, and I did it anyway. That makes it rape. Did the cops show up later? No. It's rape. But I don't feel bad about it. Telling college girls to be mindful of what they drink and possibly even what they wear is victim blaming. A college girl should be able to get blackout drunk, wear a short skirt with no underwear, and crawl into a halfway house for sex offenders and not worry about getting raped. Here's where I'm a little confused. So riddle me this, normies. If you leave your pussy or your dick unprotected and I fucking steal it, how is that my fucking fault? Alright, now that the normies are gone, let's talk about some real shit. All sex has some component that is non-consensual. Stuff just happens, okay? There's always some element of coercion. People are too complicated for it to be a simple yes or no. There's always some part of you that doesn't want to have sex, but you do it anyway. And you aren't going to know if you made the right decision until later. If ever. If there even is a right decision. And this makes sex and rape a lot more complicated. Rape isn't like murder. Most people don't want to get shot over the contents of their wallet and dumped in a trash can. Am I saying that rape victims want it on some level? Unfortunately, yes. And that's probably the reason rape is so psychologically destructive to people, because some part of you does want it. And here's the other thing about consent. It's pretty boring. Okay, yeah, there's some porn out there that's a little more interesting.
Oh my God! Hold on!
But generally, it's boring and needs a lot less consent and a lot more rapiness. All my favorite romance scenes in movies are kind of rapey. And also in real life. I'm sorry, it's boring when someone is like, "Oh, Mr. Girl, you're just the best. Let's have some healthy, totally well thought out, non-regret inducing, not scary sex." I'm just not into that. It's a lot better when it's like, "Oh, my friends are all so creeped out by you." Rape is human. Rape culture is human culture. And if you can accept that, instead of going into sex thinking, this is totally consensual, I have consented and this other person has consented 100%, you could open your fucking mind a little bit. If we demand that women convince themselves they are 100% certain they want to have sex every time they do, all we're doing is telling them to lie to themselves, to simplify their emotions, to bury their pain and confusion even deeper. My shitty parents actually thought they could stop my sexuality from becoming creepy and violent by not letting me watch rape scenes in movies. But all that accomplished was now I feel guilty about my rapey thoughts.
I was not able to process that she wasn't interested because I just assumed that she is, because I'm me. And so I start kind of chasing her around her house. Not in like a fast, aggressive way, but slowly and she's giving me like excuses, like, "Well, we're coworkers," or like, "I'm not sure." Like, she's like, she's like, "Are you sure you want to, like, don't you want to?" And then it's like, "Well, I don't want to mess up our friendship." And I'm like, "Well, everything you're saying is making me more excited." Because she's like, "I'm horrified by this." And I'm like, "Of course you are. That's normal. Come here. And then so I chase her around her house, and she's also comically crawling backwards, like over her couch, like it feels like a game. And then after probably
12 hours of wearing her down,
the sun comes up. No, after it felt like a long time. Probably in reality it was probably like 5 minutes, but like, which is a pretty long time to chase someone in circles around their living room, looking back. I finally was like, "Wait, do you not want me to kiss you?" And she was like, "No, I don't want you to kiss me." And I was like, "Why don't you just fucking say that?" And she was like, "I don't know." And I was like, "Oh." And we were like friendly after that. And then afterward, like, I couldn't understand what happened. Like I like, she rejected me. I guess I just thought, like, they say no at first to see if it's okay with you that they're saying no. And I would say, on dating sites especially, I still have this experience a lot. If you are doing like what I did, so I date from Tinder,
raping them. I'm sorry.
Raping women. Yeah.
Then I go ahead.
If you're on a date from Tinder and she says, "I'm not ready," but she's on top of you, physiologically feels ready and seems ready and is just holding herself on top of you and you're at the entrance and nothing else is happening, and she's just staring at you for 5 seconds, giving you the look of all looks, and then you push her down, I would say that is a similarly advanced maneuver. It's technically a rape, even though I don't think I raped her. Yeah.
Okay, so there are hard lines for how far I'd be willing to go with some things that make them vastly different.
Yeah, if Shaylin comes up behind me and sticks her finger in my butt, it's right. That's just part of relationships, is being more transgressive of boundaries, and that's kind of fun. Okay, so when someone states a boundary about sex, that's not their actual boundary. And if you say no to something, it might not actually mean no, like in the case of the Tinder woman I may or may not have sexually assaulted, or maybe it was a no and I raped her. She said yes and no at the same time, was my perception. So I guess I think every sex act is a dice roll to some degree.
Okay.
And that
we're at some point we're gonna have to have a.
So let's give some advice.
Okay.
Right? Because we've got some less experienced folks watching.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
I think sex is always a bit horrific to some degree, sometimes to a small degree. But usually somebody looks upset or feels upset or is confused or scared or sad. And that, to me, that's been my experience of, I think, all sex I've ever had.
Jesus. Okay.
Like, I've had sex with women and had them just burst into tears afterward or during.
Do you think that your experience with sex is more the norm, or do you think it's a little bit off the norm?
I'm saying I think it's the norm.
Well, yeah. Well, no. So, yeah, let me be clear, just because maybe you answered it how you intended to. But I'm asking your experience with sex, that all of it is pretty horrific. Do you think that engagement is more the norm, or a little bit off the norm? You think? I think
it's all. There's some degree.
Nope. Hold on. We're not doing those answers right now.
Oh yeah.
Not some degree. I'm saying that the degree of trauma that you experience. Do you think that is more the norm or not the norm? What is that your perception for the majority of people that have sex?
Right. So I'm saying either there's more horror or I'm more attuned to it. My guess is that I'm more attuned to it and that it is the norm. That is what I think. The same thing with pedophilia. And also, as a listener, if you have sex with somebody and they say they burst into tears or freak out afterwards, that doesn't necessarily mean that something went horribly wrong. The murkiness comes when somebody says no. Sometimes being excessively respectful of no is boring.
There's a lot of things I could do. A lot of people drive home drunk and they make it home just fine. Most people do. But that doesn't mean it was a good thing, right?
There is a time I was wrong.
Okay. Do you want to... Is this the last stream you're doing?
No. I'm just getting started, baby.
Smug black women irritate me when they talk about politics. Oh, Mr. Girl, you're just saying smug people irritate you. No, I didn't say smug people irritate me. Smug black women irritate me. Black men make me more uncomfortable than annoy me. But if you hear them talk and they start talking about anime or they sound like white or something, then it's a relief. One time I was at the grocery store and there's a group of black kids, like 17 or something, behind me, and they were all saying the N-word a lot. This was like a year ago. And then they were like, "Oh, look out, we're scaring him." And I looked at them and I was like, of course I'm not scared, but I was scared. Latinos who haven't really assimilated are weird to me in a way that bothers me. The music, it just all sounds the same to me. It's just like a tuba. And the singers all sound the same. I don't like it. Muslims Muslims are just too religious. Just on average, they're all too religious. It's like you're going to wear a hijab every day. That's something that bothers me about Asians. They think that you want to be one. They think everybody secretly wants to be like Chinese or Japanese or whatever. I don't understand what happens if you match with these Chinese people. Are they like in a shipping container somewhere, and then like another Chinese person lets them off of a leash and then they bring them to you?
The campus paper for Colorado University has sparked some controversy. The article, written by student Max Carson, details his hate for Asians and poses that they be subjected to phases of absurd tasks. For example, Phase 1 suggested catching Asians with large butterfly nets and dragging them into apartments for further phases, which include forced binge drinking, useless games, and house redecorating, as some sort of cultural washing and indoctrination into white American culture.
Students returned to class after Max Carson's arrest. By Vanessa Miller for the Daily Camera. August 14, 2009. Most of Max Carson's classmates in a women's studies course at the University of Colorado reconvened Thursday, 2 days after the junior was jailed for comments about being angry enough to kill. But where Carson would have sat, there was an empty seat. And there was an officer in the room, police said. One detective was there in case there were questions. CU Police CMDR. Brad Weasley said. They had a brief discussion, and that was helpful for everyone. Carson was arrested Tuesday on suspicion of interference with staff, faculty, and students of an educational institution after he commented during a heated classroom discussion about the Virginia Tech massacre that he was angry enough to kill his classmates. A police report said. He left the Boulder County Jail on a personal recognizance bond Wednesday, and he's been suspended from the university until a judicial affairs review of his case is complete. Carson's father said his son, who circulates an underground publication called The Yeti on the campus, never directly threatened any students and wouldn't harm anyone. But Weasley said Carson's intentions don't matter because students felt threatened and said they were afraid to come to class. His words were taken as a threat of force or violence, and people said, "I'm not coming to class. I'm scared," Weasley said. So that impeded their education. Among Carson's controversial comments Tuesday, Weasley said, was one that directly answered another student's question of, "Are you going to do something Thursday?" He said, "Well, not necessarily this Thursday." Weasley said, "Do you take a chance on coming back to class?" With Carson banned from the campus, most of the students were back in their seats Thursday, and a class field trip in Denver this weekend should happen as planned. Weasley said, "We went from most people not coming to most people showing up," he said. "Now they can get the education they came here for, and that's a good thing." Students have been debating Carson's punishment on the social networking site Facebook.com. "A national tragedy shouldn't take away anyone's rights," one person wrote. CNN television personality Nancy Grace weighed in on the Carson case Thursday night. After introducing Carson as a CU student who says he sympathized with the VTech killer, Grace asked a woman whose daughter attends the Virginia school what she thought about Carson's statements. "Let's take him 100% seriously and give him zero tolerance," the woman said. "We cannot afford another tragedy like this."
The other most important lesson, well, it's hard for me to number them, but let's say one of the most important lessons I ever learned from you, and I still am, I think I know the lesson, and then I'll walk into a situation and think that's that same lesson, and that is when people show you who they are, believe them.
Yes, absolutely. A person says to you, "I'm selfish," or "I'm mean," or "I am unkind,"
or "I'm crazy,"
or believe them. They know themselves much better than you do.
Mm-hmm.
But no, more often than not, those of us who don't trust life say, "Don't say a thing like that. You're not really crazy. You're not really unkind. You're not really mean." And as soon as you say that, the person
lets you know
and shows you, "I told you."
You need to get help.